Hello and welcome back to the channel as we count down our top 10 favourite blues guitar players as voted for by the Patreon supporters of the Marc Guitar YouTube channel. Now this isn't the ones we thought were the most technically brilliant or the most influential. These are the ones we love listening to the most. So sit back and let's dive in. At number 10, we've got the guitarist who's the living link between the golden age of Chicago blues and the modern blues guitar heroes. That is Buddy Guy.
Down right, I got the blues, from my head down to my shoes. Down right, I got the blues, people from my head down to my shoes.
Known for his wild showmanship, screaming guitar tone and heartfelt vocals, Buddy brought the blues to the electric age and inspired legends from Jimi Hendrix to Eric Clapton. Born George Buddy Guy on July 30th, 1936 in Lettsworth, Louisiana, he grew up playing a homemade two-string guitar before moving to Chicago in the late 1950s. There he became a protege of Muddy Waters and quickly made a name for himself as one of the most exciting guitarists on the scene. Buddy's breakthrough came on Chess Records, where he played as a session guitarist behind greats like Howlin' Wolf and Little Walter before stepping out on his own. Albums like A Man in the Blues from 1968 and Stone Crazy from 81 showed his fiery blend of traditional Chicago grit with a modern electrifying edge. His 1991 comeback album, Damn Right I Got the Blues, reintroduced him to global audiences and won him a Grammy. On stage, Buddy Guy was, and still is, a force of nature, famous for walking into the crowd with his guitar, playing it behind his head or bending strings until they nearly snapped. His live performances pushed the boundaries of blues expression. Buddy Guy's signature guitar has long been the Fender Stratocaster, often with the now iconic polka dot finish. Paired with both Fender and Marshall amps, his sound is raw, loud and unapologetically emotional, capable of going from a whisper to a roar in a heartbeat. Buddy Guy doesn't just play the blues, he sets it on fire. His music reminds us that the blues is alive, dangerous and just as thrilling as ever.
Damn right, I've got the blues. You damn right, I've got the blues.
At number 9, we've got the Texas Cannonball himself, Freddie King. Freddy combined the raw emotion of the blues with the firepower of rock and roll, creating a style that influenced generations of guitarists. Born on September 3rd, 1934 in Gilmour, Texas, King grew up immersed in gospel and country before moving to Chicago, where he was swept up by the city's vibrant blues scene. There he learned from masters like Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, developing a unique sound that mixed the grit of Chicago blues with the swagger of Texas. Freddie King burst onto the scene in '61 with Freddie King Sings and the instrumental hit Hideaway. That track, with its catchy guitar lines and danceable groove, became a standard, still played by blues bands everywhere. Other classics like I'm Torn Down, The Stumble and Have You Ever Loved a Woman cemented his reputation as both a brilliant guitarist and a soulful singer. His 1970s tours with Eric Clapton introduced him to new audiences and expanded his influence even further. He collaborated with and inspired a host of legendary players. Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan and Peter Green all cited him as a major influence. His fiery leads and soulful vocals showed that the blues could be both gut-wrenching and electrifying. Freddie King's main guitars were Gibson ES models, particularly the ES345. His sound was aggressive yet soulful. Freddie King didn't just play the blues, he unleashed it with a reputation for high energy performances and genre-defying recordings. His music was bold, soulful and larger than life, and his influence still roars through every guitarist who dares to bend a string with fire in their heart. We've got two guitarists in the joint 7th position, the first of which is the Velvet Bulldozer, a man who is a giant both in stature and influence, Albert King. His groundbreaking guitar style and his unmistakable sound made him one of the three kings of the blues, alongside BB and Freddy. Born Albert Nelson in April 25th, 1923 in Indianola, Mississippi, King grew up singing gospel before picking up the guitar. A self-taught left-handed player, he famously strung his guitar upside down, playing right-handed guitars with the bass strings on the bottom. Albert King's breakthrough came in '67 with the album Born Under a Bad Sign. The title track, written by Booker T. Jones and William Bell, became an anthem of the blues, with its unforgettable riff and King's soulful, stinging lead. Other hits like Crosscut Saw and Laundromat Blues showcased his raw power and emotional depth. King collaborated with legends like Stevie Ray Vaughan, famously sharing a stage with him on In Session, a live recording that's a masterclass in blues guitar. His influence extended to rock guitarists like Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, who credited his phrasing as a profound inspiration. Albert King taught us that the blues isn't just music, it's power, passion and truth, and through every note he played, he proved that the blues is eternal. Also in the joint 7th position, we have the Irish guitar hero, whose blistering playing, tireless energy and deep love for the blues meant that he was massively respected by the guitarists of his generation, Rory Gallagher.
Your big brother told me, and your sister told me too. Big brother told me, your sister told.
Though he never chased fame, his passion for the blues earned him a loyal following and a lasting legacy.
You were just 16 years old, and you went out on the street and pawned your silver spoon.
Gallagher picked up his first guitar at 9 years old. By his teens, he was already absorbing the sounds of Muddy Waters, Lead Belly and Chuck Berry. He soon formed the power trio Taste, whose explosive performances in the late 60s announced him as a major new force in blues rock. After Taste, Rory launched his solo career, releasing a string of acclaimed albums like Tattoo in '73, Irish Tour '74 and Calling Card in '76. Songs like A Million Miles Away, Tattooed Lady and Bad Penny captured his gritty, soulful take on the blues. His live double album, Irish Tour 74, is still hailed as one of the greatest concert recordings ever made, showcasing his ferocious energy on stage. Gallagher also shared the stage with legends like Muddy Waters, Albert King and Jerry Lee Lewis, contributing to Muddy Waters' historic London Sessions album. Many of his peers, including Eric Clapton, Brian May and The Edge, have cited him as a towering influence. His guitar of choice was his well-worn 61 Fender Stratocaster, stripped of paint, scarred by years of touring, and capable of singing with unmatched soul. He paired it with a Vox AC30 and Fender amps, relying on raw technique and feel rather than heavy effects. His tone was pure heart and hands. Rory Gallagher passed away in 1995, far too soon, but he left behind a body of work that keeps inspiring blues and rock players around the world. Rory Gallagher lived for the blues. Every note he played was honest, passionate and real. A reminder that the blues isn't about fame or flash, but about pouring your soul into the music. Landing at our sixth spot is a guitarist whose blues influence runs deep, even though he might be best known for his work in prog rock. He's the guitarist behind the legendary Pink Floyd sound, but his blues connection runs deep. This is David Gilmour. Every note he plays seems to bleed emotion with soulful bends, lyrical phrasing, and a touch that resonates far beyond genre boundaries. Though not a traditional bluesman, Gilmour's expressive style and heartfelt solos have earned him a place on our list. Proof that the spirit of the blues can thrive even in the most expansive musical landscapes. Born on March 6th, 1946 in Cambridge, England, Gilmour grew up influenced by blues legends like B.B. King, Muddy Waters and Leadbelly. He brought these roots into Pink Floyd, blending them with the band's experimental ethos and created a unique soundscape. While Gilmour's blues playing may be less traditional, its emotional core is undeniable. Songs like Comfortably Numb feature solos steeped in blues phrasing, simple yet profoundly moving. His iconic bends, sustained tones and vibrato draw directly from the blues, transforming progressive rock into something deeply human. Gilmour's guitar of choice is his legendary black Fender Strat, simply affectionately known as the Black Strat. Paired with amps like Hi-Watt and an array of effects, his tone is lush and expansive and yet retains the raw, emotional edge of the blues. His blues sensibilities also shine in his collaboration with Paul Rodgers on the 1993 album Muddy Water Blues, a tribute to Muddy Waters. On the track Standing Around Crying, Gilmour delivers a hauntingly expressive solo that pays homage to Muddy Waters' raw emotional style. His guitar work is restrained yet powerful, weaving soulful blends and aching vibrato into the fabric of the song. It's a standout moment on an album filled with guitar legends, and Gilmour's contribution underscores his ability to honour tradition while infusing it with his own unmistakable voice. Though he's often celebrated for his innovation, Gilmour's greatest gift might be his ability to channel the timeless spirit of the blues. He reminds us that the genre isn't just about tradition, it's about emotion, connection, and the human experience. David Gilmour doesn't just play the blues, he weaves it into every note. His music is a testament to how the blues, in all its forms, continues to inspire and move us. Next up in the 5th spot is the force of nature that was Stevie Ray Vaughan. With his blistering guitar work, soulful vocals and raw energy, he reignited the blues in the 1980s and proved that the genre could still set the world on fire. Born on October 4th, 1954 in Dallas, Texas, he grew up steeped in music. Inspired by his older brother Jimmy and legends like Albert King, Buddy Guy and Jimi Hendrix, Stevie developed a style that blended Texas blues grit with Hendrix-inspired fire and Albert King-like phrasing. His big break came at the Montreal Jazz Festival in '82, where his band Double Trouble performed. Though the crowd was mixed in its reaction, two key figures in the audience changed everything: David Bowie and Jackson Browne. Bowie was so impressed that he invited Stevie to play guitar on his upcoming album Let's Dance, which was released in '83. Stevie contributed to 6 tracks and the album became a massive commercial success. Jackson Browne offered Stevie free studio time, which helped Double Trouble record their debut album, Texas Flood. Released in 1983, this debut album featured classics like Pride and Joy, Love Struck Baby, as well as the stellar slow blues of the title track. His combination of technical mastery, deep emotion, and sheer physical energy made every show unforgettable. His collaborations were just as impressive, sharing the stage with Albert King on the legendary In Sessions album, recording with his brother Jamie as the Vaughan brothers, and jamming with greats like B.B. King and Eric Clapton. Stevie's weapon of choice was his battered Fender Stratocaster, nicknamed Number 1. Strung with unusually heavy gauge strings and played through vintage Fender and Dumble amplifiers, his tone was fat, biting and instantly recognisable. Tragically, his career was cut short when he died in a helicopter crash in 1990 at the age of just 35. But in less than a decade, he reignited the blues, inspired a new generation of players and left a legacy as fierce and soulful as the music he loved. Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't just play the blues, he attacked it with every ounce of his being, and in doing so, he reminded the world that the blues is alive, loud, and unstoppable. Landing at number 4, we have Gary Moore. A fiery, passionate guitarist whose blues playing could break your heart and set your soul on fire. You know! Though he first made his name in hard rock, his deep love for the blues defined some of the most powerful moments of his career. Born Robert William Gary Moore on April 4th, 1952, Belfast, Northern Ireland, he picked up the guitar at an early age, inspired by the greats Albert King, Peter Green and B.B. King. By his teens he was already wowing audiences with his speed, precision and above all, his emotional intensity. He played in several bands, including Skid Row and Thin Lizzy. However, it was his solo career where his blues voice truly flourished. In 1990, he released Still Got the Blues, an album that became a modern blues classic, featuring timeless tracks like Oh Pretty Woman and Walking By Myself, as well as the aching title track. Live, he was electric. I only got to see him once, but his solos could shift from a whisper to a scream in seconds. He collaborated with blues legends including B.B. King, Albert King and Albert Collins, all of whom respected his ability to channel the old masters while adding his own unmistakable fire. Gary was most often seen with his 1959 Gibson Les Paul Standard, affectionately known as Greenie, which was famously sold to him by Peter Green. The story goes that after lending Greenie to Moore for a few days, Peter Green asked if he wanted to buy it. Gary was initially hesitant, thinking he couldn't possibly afford it, but Peter Green told him to sell his main guitar and pay him whatever he got for it. Moore then sold his Gibson SG, for which he received £160, but Peter Green refused to accept all the money. Instead, Peter Green asked him for the same amount that he'd originally paid for it, which was apparently £120. With this guitar paired with a Marshall amp and just a few minimal effects, he coaxed out a tone that was rich, singing and capable of sustaining notes seemingly forever. For Gary Moore, the blues wasn't just a style, it was a calling. Whether playing soft, weeping melodies or unleashing a torrent of blistering runs, he played with his heart on his sleeve. Gary Moore reminded us that the blues is about more than just technique, it's about truth, passion and a courage to pour your soul into every note. So now we're into the top three, and when it comes to modern blues, one name towers above the rest: Eric Clapton. Known as Slowhand, Clapton's technical brilliance and heartfelt playing have made him one of the greatest guitarists of all time. But at his core, Clapton is a devoted bluesman, a student of the legend who came long before him and a bridge to future generations.
Have you ever been mistreated?
Clapton was born on March 30th, 1945 in Surrey, England, raised by his grandparents, and he discovered the blues as a teenager, falling in love with the raw emotion of artists like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, and in particular Robert Johnson. These early influences shaped his playing and inspired his lifelong dedication to the blues. Clapton's blues journey began with the Yardbirds, but it was his work with John Mayall and the Blues Breakers in the mid-60s that truly showcased his talent. The album, Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, which is commonly known as the Beano album, became a cornerstone of the British blues, with Clapton's fiery solos bringing the sound of the blues to a new generation. With Cream, Clapton delivered electrifying renditions of blues standards like Crossroads and Born Under a Bad Sign. His solo career brought timeless albums like 461 Ocean Boulevard and From the Cradle, which was a Grammy award-winning tribute to traditional blues that included tracks by the legends like Freddie King and Willie Dixon. Over the years, Clapton has collaborated with blues icons like B.B. King on Riding with the King and with Muddy Waters, further cementing his place in the blues lineage. His go-to guitar for much of his career is called Blackie and is a custom-built Fender Stratocaster apparently put together from Clapton's favourite bits of several different Strats. This guitar was often seen paired with a Fender amplifier for his signature tone, bright, articulate and full of soul. Eric Clapton's devotion to the blues isn't just about technique, it's about telling a story. Through his music, he kept the spirit of the blues alive, honouring its roots while making it his own. Eric Clapton doesn't just play the blues, he lives them. For him, the blues is more than music, it's a legacy, a feeling and a lifelong journey. Landing in the second position and missing out on the top spot by only one vote, we have the King of the Blues, B.B. King. Known for his soul-stirring guitar and a voice as rich as the Mississippi soil, B.B. was born Riley B. King on September 16, 1925 in Mississippi.
Drill is gone. Drill is gone away.
He rose from humble beginnings as a sharecropper's son to become a global icon. With a guitar that sang and a voice as rich as the Delta soil, he shaped the sound of modern blues and inspired generations.
You know you done me wrong, baby, and you're gonna be sorry someday. Drill is gone. Drill is gone away from me.
So, what made B.B. King a legend? His unmistakable style. He was the master of vibrato and expressive bends, weaving emotion into every note. Unlike most guitarists, he barely ever played chords, favouring lyrical single-note melodies that echoed the human voice. His guitar, Lucille, didn't just accompany him, it spoke with him. His musical journey began in gospel, but by the late 40s, he was carving out a career in blues. After moving to Memphis in 48, he landed a spot on local radio, earning the nickname Beale Street Blues Boy, later shortened to BB. His breakout hit, 3 O'Clock Blues from '51, launched a prolific career spanning 6 decades and over 40 studio albums. Standout recordings like Singing the Blues from '56, Live at the Regal from '65 and Riding with the King from 2000 with Eric Clapton showcased his virtuosity and emotional depth. Songs like Sweet Little Angel, Every Day I Have the Blues and the Grammy-winning The Thrill Is Gone remain timeless anthems.
I breathe from your spell.
Another artist that I only got to see live once, B.B. King was electrifying on stage, performing up to 300 shows a year at his peak. A standout moment came in '83 when he played The Thrill Is Gone at the Grammy Awards alongside Gladys Knight and Stevie Wonder. His collaborations span genres, including a memorable partnership with U2 on When Love Comes to Town. King famously named all of his guitars Lucille after an incident where a venue caught fire during a performance. He risked his life to save his guitar and later gave every one of them the same name. B.B. King didn't just play the blues, he was the blues. Okay, so before we reveal who made it in the top spot, A few honourable mentions. Guitarists who got some votes from the Patreon supporters but didn't quite make the top 10. First in, we got Albert Collins, the master of the Telecaster. Albert Collins brought ice-cold tone and fiery attack to the blues. Known for his capo tricks, funky grooves and stinging leads, his playing was as sharp and unforgettable as his nickname, the Iceman. Roy Buchanan, he was the unsung hero of the Telecaster, ringing raw emotion, shimmering harmonics and screaming bends out of his guitar, often called the world's greatest unknown guitarist. His soulful playing spoke louder than words. And Joe Bonamassa, he is the modern torchbearer of the blues, bending traditional licks with rock power and jaw-dropping technique. From intimate acoustic shows to roaring arena gigs, his playing keeps the blues alive for a new generation. So now we come to the top spot where we find Peter Green. Did you guess he was going to be voted as our favourite blues guitarist? Peter Green's extraordinary touch and emotional depth cemented his legacy as one of the greatest blues guitar players of all time. Born Peter Allen Greenbaum on October 29, 1946 in London, Peter Green discovered the blues as a teenager. He was deeply influenced by the raw power of Muddy Waters, B.B. King and Otis Rush.
I can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to.
By his early 20s, he was making waves in John Mayall's Blues Breakers, stepping into Eric Clapton's shoes and carving his own path with breathtaking solos on tracks like The Supernatural. In '67, he formed Fleetwood Mac, assembling one of the finest blues bands of the era. Their self-titled debut album, Fleetwood Mac, was a blues masterpiece, with tracks like Shake Your Money Maker and Green's iconic instrumental, Albatross. Green's playing stood out for all its emotional resonance. Every note felt purposeful and every bend saturated with feeling. His songwriting brilliance shone on hits like Black Magic Woman, later popularised by Santana, and Oh Well, a fiery fusion of blues and rock. But it was Man of the World, and in particular Need Your Love So Bad, that revealed Green's vulnerability and deep connection to the blues. He also played alongside legends like B.B. King and Otis Spann, earning their admiration for his authentic approach. His weapon of choice was that 59 Les Paul I mentioned earlier. Famously, it had been modified to create a distinctive tone. It was known as Greenie, and the guitar became legendary for its unique out-of-phase sound, which was apparently achieved by having a reverse pickup magnet. His tone paired with Marshall amplifiers was unmistakable, smooth, soulful and deeply expressive. Tragically, his career was cut short by struggles with mental health, but his influence on the blues endures. Peter Green didn't just play the blues, he embodied it. His artistry reminds us that the truest power of music lies in its ability to connect, to move, and to heal.
Have you ever loved a woman so much that you tremble in pain?
So there we have it, our 10 favourite blues guitar players as voted for by the Patreon supporters who keep this channel going. So do you agree with our results? Did we miss your favourite blues guitar player? Were you surprised by any of the results? Please let us know in the comments below. So following on from this, just for the Patreon supporters, I'm going to take each of these guitarists in turn and do one lesson where we look at their style of playing, solos and different things, and do a lesson so that we can get some of their licks and ideas under our fingers. If you're interested in those lessons, head on over to the Patreon site. There's a link in the description below. Big thank you to the Patreon supporters who make all this possible, who voted for this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, and I'll see you next time.